Now, in today's session, we will work on Word database. Word database has tables, cities, and countries, and that is basically makes a good use case to understand all these operators. Use Word. The very first step is I am basically selecting a database and executing this query using Control Enter. Now, let's explore tables first. So I want to see the details of my city table. As you guys now know, you can fetch the data from a table using select clause like this. So just for a reminder, the city table contains all this information: name, ID, district, population, and country code. Now, what if I wanted to display the information of cities where my ID is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, or maybe any ID you can pick from the list. So my use case is display the information of cities. Display the information of cities where city ID is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there are two ways to solve this problem. One way you guys already know, that is OR operator, that we yesterday discussed how we can give a multiple conditions in where clause using OR operator. So first let's see how we can do that using OR operator. So let's select all the columns. Since we just have 5 columns, it's okay to select all the columns. But if we have lot of columns, so we need to basically write a column names. Select asterisk from city, where I need to apply filter on ID because I only need rows where my ID is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So how can I do that? I'm simply writing ID is equal to 1, and then since I need to give a multiple condition, ID is equal to 2, so I need to type OR operator 4 times because I have multiple conditions to be returned like this. So basically this query will give you output where your ID is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Why we are applying OR? Why not AND? Because if you are applying AND, it will give you null rows. Null basically blank rows. Nothing will be displayed. Why? Because there is no row in the table where ID is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 all. Either ID is 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. And basically checks both of the all of the conditions, and all checks either one of the conditions should be true, then it will give you the output accordingly. So let's run, then you will understand better. Let's execute this query. Yes. So what this query does, it basically filtered these 5 rows from all the rows. Why these 5 rows? Because I provided condition here where ID is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. As a data analyst, our job is not just to retrieve the data, but retrieve the data in a less time and in an efficient manner. Since you guys know from the scratch, we are learning SQL in that way that we always follow good practices that other developers, other data guy follows. So there is an efficient way to solve this particular use case. Instead of OR, there is an in operator in SQL. So we are solving a same use case where we want to display information. Yeah, very good question, Richa. Why null is coming? Because if you see, let me run this thing. Why null is coming at the end? So if you see all the records from that table, the last row is coming null. So what it's assuming, since in SQL, null means nothing or blank, nothing. Null is equivalent to nothing. So what it does, since you gave condition on ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that along with that row, SQL did not able to find anything, so it basically by default gives you null rows also along with that. You can basically control that null row also, that basically database designers already do. Since it's a default database, if your company database administrator, while creating database only, there is a option where they can control blank and null values so that null entries won't be allowed in a table. That depends on case to case whether you want blanks and duplicates or not. So that's not an issue. So now let's solve the same use case using in operator, and then you can see in operator is more efficient. So I am basically copying the above query using Control C, Control V. Control C, Control V works in SQL also. So just remove all this thing. Now I need to apply filter on ID, and I know that I want rows where ID is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So simply instead of giving this condition 5 times, what you can do, you can simply write in operator, bracket open, and you can simply give all the values at once like this. So this query will also return the same result. But if you see the time and the way it is written is better than the OR query. So you can solve that these kind of use case either using or in as per you, but you should know this in operator also. It's very handy, very important operator. Once you have a multiple condition, instead of using multiple and or, prefer to use in. So let me execute this query. Yes. So I told you the output will be the same. So like in, we have a not in operator also. So as the name suggests, I think you guys can figure out, not in operator is the opposite of in operator. So in operator, I am giving a condition where I want those rows. In not in operator, you are giving a condition to exclude those rows. So to exclude meaning if there are some rows that you don't want to display in your output, so you can use not an operator and put that condition. So if a same example, suppose if I don't want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ID, city ID information, apart from this, I am good with all the rows. So in these kind of problem statements, where you want to exclude the rows, you can use not an operator. So syntax is very similar, just need to apply not in here. I just copied the inquiry in a not in operator, and yes. So here the output will be completely different. Here you will not see city ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see from 6 onwards you are seeing, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is not there. You can play along if I remove 5 from there. So now you will be able to see 5 city ID also, because I deliberately giving a condition that please exclude my rows where ID is equal to 1, 2, 3, and 4 on like this. So this not in an in operator in a real time scenarios is a very handy one, and because in a real time scenario we have a problems where we need to apply multiple conditions most of the time. So instead of applying, if suppose you have a condition where you want to filter something on the basis of 10 values, 10 conditions. So it's very time consuming to write 10 times or and. So yes, this is about in and not an operator. Hope you understood.